Hi, my name's Jason. It's week 7, day 44 of my full-time chronic pain rehabilitation journey. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most important things I've discovered, supportive routines. You have to have them, so stay tuned. But first, a quick status update. I have a ketamine hangover. Yesterday I did a psychedelic called ketamine that helps with anxiety and depression, and today I still feel kind of sick. It's not super sick, but just sort of sick. And I've had emotional releases. So one of the things that's interesting about ketamine is sometimes the emotional release is delayed. With ayahuasca, for example, another psychedelic I've tried, I had the emotional release during the trip while I was on the drug. With ketamine, I seem to have them after, as is evidenced by the video that I shot yesterday when I was quite emotional. So I had some more of those today, but that's good. Getting the emotion out helps make my mind clear and keeps me focused on what I need to do, which is rehab my body. All right, I have a couple tips for you today. The first is to ditch television. Ever since I uninstalled all the applications like Prime and Netflix from my phone, I've been spending all my time on YouTube looking at inspirational content. And there is so much of it, and some of it is so good that I can't bring myself now to turn on my favorite TV sci-fi series called The Expanse. I don't care about it anymore because my focus is on making me better, me getting better, and there's so much good self-help content. It's just amazing. I can't overstate how good it is and how much of it there is, and it just seems like a total waste of time and talent to spend your time watching television. I've lived half my life almost this far, and I want to live the other half much more engaged than I was, and television, frankly, is pretty much beneath me at this point. Do I sound like a snob? That's okay. The next tip is to keep records. I was going back and actually watching my own videos today, my early videos, and I realized how far I've come. I don't know if I'm that much better at making the videos. I think I still am a little bit nervous and struggle with it, but I can tell from what I was doing back then just how much I've progressed. I've also kept a spreadsheet that's very detailed showing every exercise I've done, how much weight, etc. And I can tell that I've made really good gains. So you have to keep records, whether they're video or spreadsheet data, so that you can tell you're progressing, because sometimes your emotions will betray you. You'll think, I've been working really hard, I haven't made gains, but if the data says otherwise, if the video record says otherwise, you're going to feel excited and optimistic and motivated to keep going, which is what I feel today. All right, on to the topic. So the big discovery so far, if I had to pick one thing that has made the difference during this rehabilitation journey and the last ones I've tried, is supportive routines. And what I mean by this primarily is anything you do that allows you to keep exercising and building your body up. And presumably, if you build it up enough, the problem areas will kind of calm down and you'll take a lot of the stress off of them with the rest of your body. That's my end goal and my hope. It hasn't quite happened yet, but the supportive routines have allowed me to keep going when otherwise I would have fallen down and I wouldn't have been able to keep building my body, which would have been bad, obviously. So I'm going to go over those routines in detail. Some of them are related to my mind, some related to my body, but they're all really important. And I would say 70% of your time and energy should be invested in supportive routines. When I started this process, I wouldn't have said that. I probably would have said like 40% supportive, 60% in actual exercise. But I would say no, it's actually the other way around. It's more like 70% supportive, 30% actual exercise. So what do I mean by supportive routines? Let me give you some examples. I have a very extensive warm-up routine. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I go to my physical therapist's office. They have a hot laser there, and they basically nuke 3 points on my spine to help me stay mobile during the week so I can do my exercises. That's part of my warm-up routine. The other thing is I go sit in the dry sauna before I lift weights for about 10 minutes so that my body will get kind of warm, my muscles will relax, and then I can exercise. I also have started doing some elliptical to get kind of full body motion going with my arms and my legs before I ever do anything. And before every exercise I do, I have a warm-up set. That means I set the weight low, high rep, just to get the body part moving and the muscles engaging so that my body knows what to do when I start upping the weight. You never want to start cold lifting weights, especially if you're starting with high weights. That's a prescription for getting hurt, and I strongly disadvise you from doing that. All right. now on to something beyond warm-up. Oh, you know what? There's actually one other thing. So, no, there isn't actually. That was the warm-up set. So now on to recovery. So there are several things I do to help myself recover from the exercises that I'm doing. One of them is I use a foam roller. It's a cylindrical piece of foam, hard foam, that you can use to kind of roll out your muscles. I use it to roll out my back, and it acts kind of like a soft chiropractic device because it allows me to adjust in very subtle and calm ways as opposed to like a chiropractic doctor can be very abrasive and they can crack you really hard. It's jolting, right? The foam roller is the opposite of that, but you can use it for many, many things. So if you haven't investigated a foam roller, I'm going to include a link with the video in the comments that will show you what it is. And there's so many practical applications to help you recover that you really should get one. The other thing is I go into the dry sauna. The main reason I do this is I want to stretch my muscles out after I've exercised. And, sorry, I lost my place for a second. It's a great place to do it because it's warm. You can also sweat out some toxins. I find it kind of therapeutic just to go in there in general. It kind of eases my mind and I can relax a little bit. It actually gets your heart rate up a bit, so it's kind of like a second cardio workout for free. Of course, you pay for it and sweat, but it is one way to keep your heart rate up and burn some more calories. But the real thing I do in there is stretch because my muscles are warm, and then I can stretch out everything that I worked out. And even if actually, I don't just stretch the muscles I worked out that day. I re-stretch all of my muscles. So my stretch routine is comprehensive. It's upper body, it's lower body, and everything in between. All right. Then I go to the chiropractor about once a week. I just do this to kind of help me get some kinks out of my neck and just kind of see, what's out of alignment, just to kind of get everything back in place. That seems to be okay. If I went too many times, it would probably hurt me, so I don't do too much chiro. But every day I go to a recovery center. The Recovery Center specializes in helping people, athletes specifically, like high school athletes, recover, or even like ultramarathon runners, recover so that they can continue to function and run races and whatnot and not be, in pain and debilitated. So I use these same techniques on me. I'm not an athlete, but I am essentially acting like one. My trainer pointed out to me today that I am essentially living like an athlete. The amount of time I'm investing every day into getting better is essentially an athlete-like schedule, which is pretty interesting. And so why not recover like an athlete? And this is probably the most important thing I've done for my body of anything I've mentioned so far. So they will use a TENS unit. You can get these pretty much anywhere. But they have a couple of what are called myofascial techniques, which work really well in my back. One's called cupping, the other one's called scrubbing. And then they have hot and cold tubs. You can do this alternating hot and cold therapy where you get in the hot tub, then the cold tub, hot tub, cold tub, hot tub, cold tub, about 3 times. And what this does is it causes all the fluids when you get in the cold tub go to your core to warm everything up. And then when you get back in the hot tub, they go back out to your limbs. And so it moves all the fluids around, which bolsters recovery. And getting in the cold tub also reduces inflammation. And so it has a lot of benefits, and I've been doing this every single day for well over 30 days now. And then beyond that, when I get home, I have some other cool down routines I do. I get out some cold packs, and I ice my body. Pretty much my lower back, my mid back, my upper back, my shoulders, my neck. There's nothing I don't cool down when I get home. And then typically, because I'm somewhat uncomfortable, I'll use I have a implanted reservoir that acts like a drip system into my spinal cord. I'll get out the cell phone device and push the button a couple times to self-administer a dose of that because I do tend to hurt a little bit more in the night. But that's just mostly to keep my pain level under control. But again, it's just part of my routine now. Every day I do this exact same thing. And then also I do some dietary things to try to help me recover faster. I realized a few weeks ago that I wasn't getting enough protein. And the reason I could tell that is because my muscles would stay sore for too long. So now I have some protein shakes, plant-based protein shakes that I take that help me to recover faster. My muscles are sore. I can tell that they've been worked, but they don't stay sore for 3 or 4 days afterwards. That's usually indicative of some kind of a deficit. So you've got to make sure that you have enough protein in your diet so that you can actually recover and build muscle. Otherwise, what's all the hard work for? And then beyond that, my sleep routine is very well defined. I meditate every night before I go to bed because I'm not watching television. I'm not staring at a device which can act like a stimulant. I tend to meditate and then go to bed, and I fall asleep very, very quickly. And if I do wake up during the night for some reason due to pain or discomfort, I have some extra sleeping pills I can take. Sometimes I do sleep in if I'm particularly tired or didn't sleep well that night. I'll let myself recover, because sleep is horribly important. It's when your body rebuilds everything and recovers, and so you have to give yourself ample sleep. Beyond all of that, there's one aspect of this that I also want to highlight that's very important, and it's the mental aspect. So I mentioned that I have a ketamine hangover. It's a psychedelic that helps with anxiety and depression. And I've been going and doing that twice a week at this clinic that I go to. And it's part of me keeping my mind right while I'm doing all of these hard things, because it's very hard. I feel right now like I'm frenzied, where I'm just like trying to shave off 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, so I can fit everything into my day, including shooting these videos. I'm very, very busy. And when I say full-time rehab, I mean full-time rehab. So getting that in and allowing me to release the emotion that might otherwise block me and keep me from getting up in the morning and going, all at it at the gym, that's really important. You can't understate that. Plus, I do want to fix my mind. What's the point of fixing my body if my mind is still broken? So you have to invest significant time there. I do a couple of other things that I consider to be supportive there. I go to a chronic pain coping group once every week, and then I have a cognitive behavioral therapy group that I go to also once a week. So between the ketamine and the therapy groups, and then all the meditation that I'm doing, I'm definitely supporting my mind during this difficult phase of my recovery. Fighting for your life means fighting smart. Make sure you have the support you need to succeed. So how do you support your rehabilitation effort? I'd be interested in hearing your ideas. Please leave your thoughts in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe.